Have you ever made a mistake and then just could not let yourself off the hook for it? Not just thinking about what happened once. Okay, yeah, that's pretty normal. But replaying it over and over, picking it apart, asking yourself, why did you do that? What were you thinking? What everyone else must think of you now. And the thing is, it's not even just the replay. It's what your mind says to you with every single pass. How could I be so stupid? I should have known better. That was so crazy. What was wrong with me? I don't deserve to be trusted ever again with this. If that sounds familiar, this video is for you. Because today I want to talk about why we do that to ourselves and what I've personally learned about how to stop. I actually wrote an article about this topic that goes even deeper, and I'll link it below because I think reading it alongside with watching this will really give you a really full picture about this. But first, I want to share some of my own story with you because this is not something I'm teaching from a distance, okay? This is something I've had to actively work through my own self. So here's something you may or may not know about me. I'm a huge psychology nerd. I read psychology books for fun. I genuinely believe that understanding how our minds work, of human behavior is one of the most powerful tools we have for living a better life. And what's so crazy about that is that, all this research exists on the power of the mind, and it's only a click away. You could get on the internet, you can learn about how you can improve your lives from research, how you can have a better quality of life, how we could be better humans to the people around us, to the people we love and care for. We just got to research it. And we all have access to it. It's wonderful. It makes me giddy. But most of us never really access it because nobody either taught us how to apply it to our everyday lives or even know where to begin in doing all that. And that's a big part of why I do what I do. I am happy to serve in that capacity. So when I came across this concept of positive reappraisal, which is what my article is about, I got really excited because it had a name for something I've been trying to practice for years without really knowing what to call it. But it does have a name. But here's the thing. I want to be honest with you about where this really comes from for me personally. Because the reason I chose to write about punishing yourself after a mistake is not just because I read about it in some research or in a book or whatever. It's because for a really long time, I was the person who could not let herself off the hook about anything. Like it was tight regimen around here, okay? I had always had really high expectations for myself, and for a long time, I thought that was a good thing. It meant I was driven, it meant that I cared, it meant that I was going to get things done. And those are admirable traits, right? But what I didn't realize is till much later is that there's a difference between having high standards and punishing yourself when you fall short of them. And I was doing a lot of that second one. I would always beat myself up over a mistake. It was almost like it was a reflex. It was that frequent. Something would go wrong, obviously, and before I could even fully process what happened, my mind was already in that loop. Why did I do that? How could I have been so stupid? I shouldn't have said this. I should have said that instead. What is everyone going to think about me now? What they're going to judge me about now? And I thought that was accountability. I genuinely believe that if I was hard on myself enough, and if I felt bad enough about it, that somehow means that I was taking it seriously and that I was going to do better next time. But what I've learned, both through my own experience and through a lot of research I've studied, is that shame doesn't actually make you better. It just keeps you stuck. It's this mental self-flogging. It keeps you in a negative space where you feel less capable. And, the irony is that the harder you are on yourself, the less likely you are actually to try again. Because when you associate a situation with that much shame and that much pain, your brain is going to want to avoid it. You're going to stop putting yourself in positions where you might fail. And then you're going to wonder why you're not growing. So my journey with this has really been about learning to separate reflection from punishment. Learning to ask, what can I take from this instead of what's wrong with me? I had to stop letting my mistakes define me. And that shift didn't happen overnight. I want to be really clear about that. It's still something I have to practice to this day. Like, I literally just had a conversation with my manager and my therapist about it. So, I'm not perfect at this either, but it has genuinely changed the way I move through the world. And it's changed the way I bounce back when things don't go the way I really wanted them to. Now, I really want to be careful here because I know what this can sound like. And some of you may even already be thinking it. It can sound like I'm telling you to just think positively or look on the bright side, to not take your mistakes seriously. And that is not what I'm saying. Not even a little bit, not even close. All right. What I'm saying is that there is a way to reflect on what went wrong that actually serves you, that actually helps you to grow. And there's a way to reflect that keeps you in a loop of shame and fear that can hold you back. The approach I write about in my article is called positive reappraisal. And it's a concept from positive psychology that I think is genuinely one of the most useful tools you can truly have. Not because it asks you to pretend everything is fine, but because it gives you a framework for processing what happened in a way that keeps your power intact. You acknowledge what went wrong. You find even the smallest thing that went right. You recognize what was temporary about the situation, and you make a conscious decision about what would you do differently the next time. That's it. That's the practice. And it sounds so simple. So I promise you, it takes real work to build that habit, especially if you spent years doing the opposite. It's going to feel uncomfortable to not be negative towards yourself, but it's actually the healthy way to go about it. So I go into a lot of detail in the article about this, including some of the research behind why this works. And I also included a free guide that you can download to actually practice it. So please go check it out, use it. The link is in the description below, and I really think it'll be worth your time. But the last thing I want to leave you with is this. You are going to make mistakes. That is not a character flaw. That is what it means to be human. And you are allowed to learn from them without destroying your self-esteem and confidence in the process. You are allowed to be kind to yourself as you grow. And actually, I say you need to be, because the world is not always going to be kind to you. So why shouldn't you be the one who is constantly that person for yourself? That's true self-love. So be gentle with yourself. Go read the article. Let me know in the comments if this resonated with you, because I genuinely do want to know. I read the comments. But yes, keep that in mind. Now let that sleep, and I'll see you next time, friend.